All right. So, hey, Verity family, community, it's Dr. Montilla. I'm actually here with Corey, who is the founder, inventor of our new services that we're offering here at Verity Health Center.
Yeah, excellent. So, my background is really evolved. I went down the path of biomedical, so two biochemistry degrees, went pre-med. My older brothers were going down that path of chiropractic, and that's kind of what led me into that chiro world. I was identifying, man, this weight loss thing is a problem. If we don't help get weight off some of our patients, I'm never going to fix this low back. And at the time back then, it was all about you got to move more and eat less, right? Very simple. And we opened up a lot of gyms throughout the US, and I was learning things. I was watching these people work out and put the effort in, but I'm like, why aren't they losing like maybe this person? And that led me on a path to testing. And what we learned is there's a lot of issues there, from hormones to even at the cellular level problems. So ended up wanting to develop and fix that problem. So we started getting into light therapy. Got in and was using some of the devices that were out there. None of them were really delivering what I wanted them to deliver for my patients. I'm like, all right, we're not getting the results. So how do we do that? Well, let's get in the science, understand why these devices aren't working. Let's build a better device. So went down the path of manufacturing and testing and clinical trials and just nonstop. We did that for 10 years. And here's the thing too, is how do we educate our patients? I'm a big believer that they need to know the why. Maybe not the why that you and I know, right? The depths of biochemistry and all these, the things that happen, but they kind of need to know how this tool or how these tools fit into their journey and how it's going to act as a catalyst, that's the shirt, right? To really catapult them forward on their health journey. That really sparked people to start going down the path of, okay, docs, natural docs, like that's kind of where we're at now, through patents and all of those things that we've done in the past. And now my passion is really this, education and the power of a lot of those natural things such as light that are out there.
Yeah. And it's awesome. In chiropractic, there's a principle of limitations of matter, right? Like I can adjust you all day long, but there's something that's going to stop you getting to that next level. And then we hopefully can pivot and get to that next level. And then there's something else, right? And something on you peeling through the layers. And I love, that's one of the things as I researched what products do I want to carry or services that I want to implement in my practice. I love the understanding, not just like the theory or just the understanding that there's more. There's more to the human body. We've abused our bodies through the years. I'm sure you agree with this, is that we're much more in an inflammatory state, right? We're bombarded emotionally. We're bombarded physically. We're bombarded chemically, like meaning food and environment. And I love that this evolved from like, wait a second, there has to be more, right? And so Verity means truth. We're here to share the truth, education. We're going to educate you and empower you to help you make the best decision for you and or your entire family to live well. Getting into these services and what you've designed here, the core system, which I love, by the way, it's important that our core is well overall. And there's a lot of things and misconceptions out there, right? With talking about red light therapy, let's say, that you can go and purchase online, right? Now that we're offering this to our patients in our community, a lot of responses that we get is, oh, I got the mask, or hey, I got this, I got that, right? And
Yeah.
and I say this, and I'll give you the floor here in a second, but I say this because I believe it's true, is as much as the pharmaceutical industry is a billion-dollar industry, so is the wellness industry. And what that means is people are misled to spend money just to think that they're going to get a certain result. And I tell my patients quite often, the most expensive supplement, the most expensive modality, the most expensive, whatever you want to call it, is the one that doesn't work. Right? So
Amen.
you spend money on all these supplements, spend money on red light therapy services. You can do, trying to strengthen your core, but if it doesn't work, it's very expensive.
There's so many good nuggets. You
Yeah.
gave out 4 good nuggets in that time. I'm like trying to write these down because I'm like, I want to unpack all of them, right? I think 2 of them I'm going to grab on. We know this as providers, and patients know this too, but degradation or breakdown of the body happens internal unless there's a trauma, external trauma. So our bodies at the cellular level are breaking down long before you have the cancers, the diabetes, the weight gains and all those things. So it would make sense for us to say, oh, okay, we know that. So let's start diving internally, cellular level even, and start seeing what we can do to help stop that progression, right? The second thing is, I love light. I'm one of probably the biggest advocates of light, but I get mad at it. I get mad at the market because you're right. There's so much deception. And it frustrates me. And what happens is people are like, okay, I'm hearing about this light. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to invest some money. Okay. I'm going to tip my toe in. And they do it. And they're like, didn't really work. And then they give up. I'm like, no. Like, I know how our cells have chromophores and what they do with the cytochrome C oxidase and nitric oxide and oxygen and all those things.
All the geek stuff.
All the geek
Nothing wrong
stuff.
with that.
Yeah.
I'm wearing glasses.
If you actually have the right wavelengths, the right power, and enough energy joules to do it. And I just did a video, even on the mask thing, because that drives me bonkers. You know, like, I bought some of the top selling masks on the market. I tested them, doc. And these masks were literally like 1 milliwatt per centimeter squared. One. That will do nothing. But yet they had beautiful before and afters, and they had some testimonials, and they had all this stuff. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, this poor person, whoever invested in this, is never going to get to the results they desire. Same thing with some of these beds out there. Great marketing, they look fancy, but they won't deliver what they truly could deliver in biochemistry if they follow the principles.
A lot of this marketing is towards the emotions of an in-person, right? So it's like, how do you prey on the vulnerable? How do you say, you know what, this is for you? And they hit these pain points. And then what it does, because I would say that there's definitely a small percentage, and maybe somebody out there is watching this is thinking, wait a second, this is me. It does touch the psychology aspect of it, right? Not thinking that I'm doing something for myself that's going to better me. And so really what people don't realize, sure, the psychology aspect of it helps you feel better, but it's not going to fix the problem long term. And I think that that's what the difference is too, like what we're talking about in terms of the science behind it and the results behind it, and understanding that there's only so much that your emotions, if you lead your life solely on emotions, it can be very detrimental. Don't get fooled by everything. Hey, be encouraged by certain things, commit yourself, right? Trust the process, because oftentimes the process is not good, but man, the results are very, very good. And we have already rolled out, it's been about 2.5 months that we've been rolling out these services at Verity. And now we're just been talking about red light therapy. And I can tell you that I've had patients come in and have a certain look on their face, and they walk out and they'll tell us how they feel. And we're all about how you feel, and then we say, how's your body doing? So there's a connection between the feeling and the knowing, and their response and the results have been phenomenal. Whether it be energy, whether it be they feel like they can function better, they can move better, inflammation is down. You talked about this, Doc, earlier about the whole weight loss thing. It's, one of the things prior to all this, I always told patients, well, because we do nutritional consultations and all that, the easy thing to tell somebody to lose weight is, hey, stop eating. You'll lose weight, but it's not going to make you healthy. And so the goal is, hey, if you do what you're supposed to do naturally, your body will start losing the weight that it needs to in a healthy manner, right? And so guess what? We start seeing results, and you're 1 pound less likely to get heart disease. You're 2 pounds less likely to get, you can fill in the blank.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing about, like, when you bring like a catalyst like light therapy in with the other foundational things, you're actually fixing the environment needed to be lean. And that long term, all of a sudden the weight stays off more. You have less yo-yos. You feel better. All these other wellness-based things are there, and they actually stay. Why? Because we did the heavy lifting at the cellular level.
And it's gradual, right? It facilitates, it creates an environment where the body's like, oh, wait a second, we can do this together, right? You're not forcing the body, you're working with the body, therefore yielding the better results, not only now, right, but long term.
Amen.
What would you say to the people that are like, red light therapy, I don't trust it, it's a gimmick? What would you say to those people that are doubting maybe the whole idea of red light therapy for maybe inflammation, or maybe weight loss, or just overall wellness?
I understand, right, why you're doubting, because it does sound too good to be true in a way, right? Like when they see, here's another thing, is it going to really do this for me? And then maybe some people have bought or used lights that don't actually change biochemistry, maybe didn't have the experience or the outcomes they wanted to. You and I, Doc, stay true to education and bring it to the cellular level and teaching. That will start growing certainty in their mind when they understand, oh, wow, this is how it works. Let's face it, light therapy in the medical field is the most published, article out there right now. I mean, there's over 2,000 peer-reviewed articles on light therapy, and we're looking at it now for changing the biome, for brain health. It means there's just so many good uses for it, and there's a reason for that. Okay, and I'll jump into that here in a little bit, but skeptics, I would say, will earn your trust.
To get different results, you have to try to do something different. You can't catch yourself doing the same thing over and over.
People don't understand light in humans. You know, they get light with plants, right? Photosynthesis. That's how they make energy to survive. You take a plant out of the sun, it's dead. People don't know that. We're light beings, just like a plant is. And they're like, well, I'm under light. Yeah, we're under the wrong light all day, every day. Why? Because we're trying to earn a living. We're working inside. We're not outside like we should on a daily basis. You know, I mean, we've changed. And now we're very light starved. And what science has been able to do is say, okay, we understand we have chromophores. We understand chromophores react to certain wavelengths of light. That's what's been studied. That's how we started getting 630, 660, 810, 850, 960, 1060, all these different nanometers of wavelengths in science that we know trigger different biochemistry events.
Blue light, for an example, right?
Yeah, but blue light can sometimes be overused in a certain way, right? And create a stressor. Flipping on your phone before bed is equivalent to drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee before you go to bed. And we know sleep is one of the number one things to being healthy.
In the core station, right, red light table, there is an option to help those.
The pineal gland senses those different wavelengths of light. As you look at it, the pineal says, oh, okay, we got some. It's going to start making melatonin via your serotonin to say, and melatonin is a whole other thing we could talk about, but that's like a really good thing for cancers and all those things, and helps, you know, the body recover. So it will boost that by just being under those lights.
And then guess what? When you can rest, you can heal. That's a reset opportunity your body has every evening. And if you're not taking advantage of it because of the stressors that we're encountering, then you're not going to rest well, right?
Right. And it's like, you know, on the marketing side a lot, you know, you'll see like lose 2 inches and a light, you know, because that's what the consumer's like, okay, 2 inches, that seems fast. I want that. And it will happen. But I'm like, oh no, guys, there's so much more to this. Like that time under the light, you're actually releasing nitric oxide, uncleaving it, so it can vasodilate and allow oxygen to bind to cells. That's huge, right? Because we know the environment of cancer, which is the number 2 disease that's killing people, is a lack of oxygen and increase of acidity in the body.
But this is why we also offer hyperbaric chamber in our clinic, right?
Oxygen.
Oxygen in your body, oxygen to recover, oxygen to heal, oxygen.
And people are like, well, I breathe. Well, kind of, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it gets all the way bound at the cellular level. So
talking about core light, for those that have been watching to this point, what would you say, hey, this is what core light can do for you. This is how it can benefit you.
Biochemistry at the cellular level will change, will make more ATP, thus better energy, clearer thinking, less inflammation, less pain, nerves firing sharper. When all that environment is there, weight loss much easier. You actually are going to win your weight loss journey versus just the typical yo-yo, try and die, try and die. That's what even the literature can guarantee will happen with the properly dosed and the proper wavelengths of light.
This is going to give you the best opportunity for your body to do what it's been missing. I mean, you not only feeling better, we talked about feeling, but you functioning optimally. When all that works synergistically, the outcomes, now if you're a parent, you're a better parent. Now, if you're a community leader, you're a better community leader. Now, if you're exercising,
earning more income, all clearer, all of that is directly tied. And that's why I take my health seriously too, right?
If we want our bodies, right, to last long, that we should invest in our bodies to help us get to that point, right? It's our vehicle every day. Either you do the same and continue to worsen, do something different, get some different results. But at the end of the day, what we don't want for anybody out there watching this, listening to this, is having to pay a lot more for very few options.
They're making a choice. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is where people go wrong. You're either going to focus towards health, like I want to be thriving and vibrant. Okay, look that way, focus on that way. Not being perfect every day, but focus. Or they're going to completely put focus on something not even health related, and biochemistry will take over. They'll make poor decisions and it'll go down this path.
All right, so we talked about red light, which is core. I put a little insert, a little plug for hyperbaric chamber that we're starting to offer also at Verity Health Center. And now we have core floor. Let's like shift real quick. This is pretty straightforward, right? What was the reason behind core floor? Why did you design such a powerful instrument?
Yeah, a couple different ways. Okay, so one, on the weight management journey, some people, as they lose weight and they're starting to win that battle, They have a little bit lower adipose on that lower kind of abdomen. It's estrogen dominant based fat. Got a little bit anterior pelvic tilt. They've got this little pooch. They're like, I don't like it anymore. I'm working towards health. I'm liking what my body's doing. I want that to go away. So understanding that, I'm like, okay, we got to provide a solution. Now, what's the solution? Solution is core. And then when you dive into core, core is like one of the most important things you have. Core is involved in everything. Core is involved in the ability to stand up straight and have balance, to hold the spine in the proper alignment.
Sorry, yes. It's okay. Core. I want to make sure that for our viewers and listeners, we're speaking core as in your core.
Core canister. C-O-R-E.
Right? Because all the services are called core floor.
Yeah.
Right? So always make sure everybody's following us.
Yeah. Core canister. So your multifidi, your transverse abdominis, your some of your diaphragm plays into that. Piriformis, all those muscles that do more than people understand what they do. And this needs to be educated on. Like your core, guys, is what helps with pelvic incontinence. Okay, when a lady goes through pregnancy and maybe she giggles and has some leakage, that's a core problem. Yeah. Guys with ED, massive problem right now. That's a core problem. Rotational athletics, back pain, balance as you get older. So understanding massive problem out there that very few people have. And that's why I'm excited with that core assessment. So what's the solution? Okay, now the solution is we try to, establish and train core every day. Nobody's gonna do that. It's super hard. Your brain can't even create the contraction needed once your core is so weak. So now there's science out there that says, hey, we can go in there with an impulse stronger than the brain can elicit. We can do it a lot of different times, and we can create muscle contraction at that deep core floor level, and we can start strengthening. We can start hypertrophying. We can start training these muscles to work again. So what are the outcomes? You start losing the weight down low, have less leakage. You sleep through the night without having to go to the bathroom all the time. Prostate comes alive. Performance comes, is better. All those things, athletic performance increases. All of those things happen by sitting on a device like that for 5, 10, 20 minutes and start training.
Who can benefit, and how can these services benefit someone?
If you have chromophores in your body, you should use light therapy, good light therapy. For sure, if you're struggling with weight management, you need light therapy. People don't understand the importance of getting weight off their body ASAP. Fat is not just this unsightly thing you look down on. You're like, I don't like it. I'm gonna pull my shirt out when I sit down, right? Fat is a tissue that is actually creating hormones. And these hormones, unfortunately, are slowing and working against you to carry more fat. If you have adipose, you need to be getting on a good light therapy, like a core light, period. If you have chronic pain, fibromyalgia, those types of things, and you're trying this stuff, I'm trying to eat better, I'm trying to sleep, and you still have this pain, you need light therapy or floor on top of that as well. Because those pain responses, biochemistry in the body respond to light. It's a catalyst to your supplements, it's a catalyst to your food. It takes these things that you're bringing in internally, it makes them better. And light is consistent, guys, right? Just like healing, you got to commit to it.
Because if you're not doing something to help continue that process, then it's only going to break down.
We are as healthy as our cells. Cells right now in individuals are not doing well. And that's why do we add PMF to the station, right? Because PMF, yes. We know studies came out in 2024 that says, hey, you know what? Your cells vibrate at a frequency.
Our table, that's what I believe is one of the main reasons what makes us unique in Tallahassee area, is we offer 3-in-1
PMF. Why do we add that? We know cells have a it's energy, it's electricity. We know they have an electric. That's how it works. Stuff going in and stuff going out of a cell membrane. So why not arm that cell at the right electric pulse to allow all these toxins in the cell that's been holding there like a trash, like a dump. So how do we open up that cell wall to help get some of that out? Oxygen helps with that. Getting the cell to actually release toxins, polarize properly. Lymphatic movement, lymph moves toxins out, right? That's why we add the vibration to the table. That's what gets me excited.
That gets me excited too. I'm over here just smiling because I know it is true, right? And there's evidence to support it all, right? And for those that are watching and listening, now the question is, are you wanting to experience it all, right? Because at Verity Health Center, we do offer all of it. We do offer, right? The fact that we have a red light, well, we have a core station that offers those 3 things that you just described: red light therapy, vibration, PMF. But then guess what? We also have hyperbaric chamber, right? To pump your body with oxygen. Then we have core floor, right? To help your body stabilize itself, right? So it's like, I'm excited because because we know there's no one magic tool. That's exactly right.
It's all this oxygen and movement and all these things. So that's why I get excited. Like when you like the more tools you have in that clinic, I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, there's every tool almost everybody needs to have a healthy journey. And hopefully they start grasping that. You can't just do light and be like, am I healthy yet? I mean, some of your body that is affected by light is, but there's other components that we need to address as well.
And we have
The adjustment, the chiropractic adjustment. Boom. Let's remove interference. Let's get that nervous system, functioning better. It all goes together. And that's the cool part.
And I appreciate you bringing that back up, because there's nothing that can replace an adjustment, right? Like,
No.
and somebody might be watching this and say, well, I'm not a chiropractic, I don't want to get adjusted. I hear you, but still there's truth. It's a true statement. There's nothing that's going to replace a specific chiropractic adjustment to help unstress the nervous system so that
Amen.
everything else can work.
Health is not linear. It goes up and then changes and it's doing this. And as long as we have that next step for a stall, maybe they start on weight management with the light. Great. They're gonna get those benefits of light, but maybe they still have like headaches or some type of pain. Great. Remove the interference. And then maybe they're like, okay, this is good, but I still have some leakage. Great. Add the floor. And you just keep adding good tools and investing in yourself, and it will allow that biochemistry to function.
And it brings me back to answering probably a question that's like, well, do I have to do this the rest of my life? And that's what it comes down to. If you don't really care about it, then yeah, you do the bare minimum. You don't have to keep up with it all. But if you want maximum effort, right, then you get to a point that you're just maintaining. You're maintaining the
Maintenance
progress.
is way more affordable than start and stopping.
We're not targeting your symptoms, right? What we're doing is working on what is deficient in your body and creating that space where it'll take care and fill in those gaps, right? Cells, like you just talked about, oxygen, again, recovery, all these things that are very important, that part of our process that we want to accomplish. How can we help you to rest well? How can we help you, right, to heal better? How do we remove interference, right? It's not, hey, it's just not weight loss. It's why is it? How can we stimulate? How do we motivate? How do we encourage your body to do what it needs to? Because naturally you should be able to burn fat, but there's a reason why you can't. Are you doing what everyone else is doing, hoping for different results? Because if you are, what if you call us and make an appointment? We sit down, we find out what service is best for you. We start doing that, commit. And what if your body gets better? What if you go and
I love it.
Well, you don't have to take all these meds, or you don't.
It's the ripple effect. And what if you get better and all of a sudden your kids get better because of that? And their kids. And what if maybe your parents that are struggling see your journey and you start teaching them because you're passionate about what's happening. You put the effort in and you change there. It's a ripple effect.
I want to offer the viewers and the opportunity to say, hey, I want to go in and get checked out and figure out what service is best for me, because I'm tired of being sick and tired. And so what we're doing is BOGO for your first session, right? We're going to sit down and we're going to waive the initial wellness consultation, removing the interference that might stop you from sitting down with me and saying, hey, guess what? We remove the financial burden that you might find in the beginning. That's gone, because we're going to sit down with you and we're going to figure out what can we implement that's going to help you maximize your health. We'll give you a plan. We'll give you a program. You can choose. And then our goal is results. That's what we want to see. You commit to these results. That's what I want you to focus on.
Yeah, that's the dopamine, right? Yep, that's the wins. That's the wins, is when people come in, they're like, oh, okay, I am down pant sizes. Oh, I am sleeping better. Oh, I am feeling better.
This is not about just pushing products out there just to push them. It's the saying, hey, there's a deficiency. Hey, there is an opportunity to create a better environment for an individual to succeed from the inside out. I appreciate your highs and lows, because in those low moments is when you were like, wait, there has to be more. Anything you like to tell our viewers? And
I'm excited for the Verity family. And how do we change this health crisis we're in, right? Like, it's bad. Stats are not good. How do we change it? It starts with a Verity. It starts with a clinic like yours, a pod. It starts with a pod. It starts with the community. And I'm going to challenge your patients to dive in as they're getting the results, learn, and be a catalyst. Like, teach it, share it, and let's change this as a group.
Again, just a reminder for those that have been watching and listening to us today, call us, schedule a wellness consultation, free to you, right? We're taking care of that expense. And once you commit your first session, we will match that as well. But here's the catch to it. If you've seen this, if you received this as a link via text, or if you've gotten an email, right, or somebody shared it with you, there's going to be a date expiration. That's right. You got 10 days to take advantage of this. If you want it, you're serious about it, we want to come alongside you and hold you accountable. We just want you better. And that's what our goal is. We want you here at Verity Health Center to help you experience true health. So, Doc, appreciate your time. And for those that are watching, listening, we look forward to seeing you here at Verity Health Center. We have 3 locations, but the main location, Verity North, is where we're actually offering these services. So come and take advantage of it. Look forward to seeing you soon.